always powered by coffee each and every time. That's the mighty Psycho Promise. Welcome to another episode of Psycho's Platters. I hope everybody has been doing very well. I know we were just on here yesterday, right? Uh, what a great stream yesterday was in its own way, right? I'm telling you, you guys make the stream. That's all there is to it. I have wonderful, wonderful people on screen, wonderful people in the audience. I love you guys. I do too. I know some people would probably say, "Oh, that's phony shit." No, not for me. Let's take it. We'll throw this out there for a minute, okay? Considering that, like I said, I used to be in radio, all right, on and off for 7 years. I would say mainly, I did FM and AM radio. I would probably say my audience, whenever I had a show, would maybe be, I don't know, maybe just slightly bit more than these shows. But it was neat, it's very nice to be able to be here when I can and entertain you guys, and we all learn something here down the line, don't we? At least that's what the idea of Psycho's Platters is, or at least I'd like to think so anyway. I don't know, but I learn a lot, from doing this show. From, of course, the on-air guests here and the audience. We're always learning some things. I know there's a couple of people I'm just waiting till we trickle in a little bit more, maybe before we get started. I don't really know. I double checked YouTube for 2 seconds. I really didn't see anything coming on here. But it is what it is. I hope everybody out there is doing pretty decent. We were like mid 80s today. We kind of just went and, like after the broadcast last night, downpoured for quite a while. So the weatherman couldn't even get it right. Randy, how's it going? Good to see you. And Mr. Jeff Kendall from OKC. Speaking of, did I show you? I think I shared through Facebook that there's a concert that I think you might be interested in coming to OKC. Hello. Is there anybody out there? Just not if you can hear me. Hello, SS. I just decided to shorten you to SS. That's because I'm lazy. That's why. Yeah, so anytime there's anything over on the western side of the state of Okie that I think you might be interested in, I'll share it along with you. But that's what we got dumped on. Really, huh? But okay, pardon my ignorance. Aren't you in Michigan? Because I'm like, if it went up there, my God. The way it looked, it was coming through Texas. All right, coming through Texas. We weren't exactly in the path of this thing, but I knew we were going to get something, some offshoot, as you say, remnants. And it kept going through like part of Missouri, the southern half of Illinois, it seemed, and it would stop around Indiana. Prayers to the people in the state of Texas right now, because at least when I checked after the broadcast, actually, I happened to watch 2 seconds of the news, and they were saying that, other than the 2 million people out of power, that a lot of the phone services weren't working, and a lot of the electric too, and internet, and for almost the whole state of Texas. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I heard, and it's kind of crazy. It's very, very crazy. Oh, England's in the final, huh? See, now I'll tell you something. That's great that you guys have got that stuff, okay? My boss would probably go a little more nuts about that. I don't know if we're talking soccer, I'm assuming. He's from Kosovo. That's where he's originally from. But he's all excited that we're going to get a 5,000 seat soccer stadium. Seriously, I think they're just starting to build it. Oh, Pecolina? Yes. Yeah, Woo, Pig Suey, Razorbacks. Indeed. I like your handle. Don't date me, don't hate me. You know, though, seriously, your emoji almost reminds me of somebody like when I was growing up. Honestly, hang on a second. Honestly, that almost looks like a high school, like senior high school. You see, yeah, you're a kid. Yeah, my boss would be going nuts. You know what? I know he's got to do a job, but I've seen him sneak a look at the TV to try to look at the soccer stuff. Um, oh boy, guys, but I'm glad to have you guys along. This ain't gonna be no 3 hour one. I can tell you that right now. I loved it though. I did. We're gonna do a few more of those coming down the pipe. This one here, I'm shooting for maybe 2 hours today at the max. I'd like to thank the couple subscribers that did like and sub me since last night. Sometimes YouTube has a very slow rate of generating information. Sarah Huckabee Sanders. I don't know what to think about Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Then again, though, I'm not going to touch on politics. I've said this before. I've said it again. I'm an independent with a slight lean to the right, if that makes any sense. But yeah, this video, this episode of Psycho Splatters, is in tribute to Joe Egan, who I found out my manager, Donna Joe Cat Lady, told me the information last night. And Joe Egan, 1972 to 75, in that very, very cool band, Steelers Wheel, with Jerry Rafferty. That was your two main members, was Joe Egan and Jerry Rafferty. And then, of course, they broke up in 75. I like Stuck in the Middle with You. I always have. When I heard that a long time ago on the radio, I really honestly thought it was a Bob Dylan track. It did. It sounded Dylan-ish, if you will. Hey, James. We better have a good year this year, the Razorbacks. I'm telling you right now. Seriously. Yes, and if they keep leaning more, the whole state's going to fall in the ocean. I remember when I was a kid, they were threatening that. They're like, then one really good earthquake, and it's going to... See, now, here's one that I thought was a John Lennon track when it came out. Just a little bit. Crowded Houses Don't Dream It's Over. And Julian Lennon's Too Late to Say Goodbyes and Valette. I thought both of those were like, because he sounded just like Daddy, almost, But needless to say, yes, Coach Petrino belonged to our country club. Well, look at that. That's neat, nevertheless. Whenever I think of country clubs and stuff like that, I think of Bushwood from Caddyshack. Actually, Bella Vista, which I'm not a big fan of Bella Vista, Arkansas. It's almost, it's like the first town you get to when you cross Missouri border into the Northwest Arkansas. I just don't like Bella Vista for some reason, but I should probably go take a stab at the public course. I'm trying to get back into golf because I'm a fat ass and I need some exercise. But you know what? It's kind of hard to play golf in consistently 90. Now today was 85-ish, but at 90 to 100 degrees, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm not like 16 years old again when I'm with my dad playing golf when I could handle it. It's not like that anymore. I'll tell you. Yeah, we have a country club member. Oh my. You missed the password for yesterday. The password was clusterfuckery. I love it, but that's what it seemed like. It was going everywhere, just like in what's in my mind. Oh, it's a squirrel. Speaking of, where the hell is Toby Tobins? She was on, there's this little cushion, if you will, from a circle chair. And usually she likes to stay on that, but she's not in there. That's because probably she's in my room, probably doing stupid shit that she shouldn't be doing. Now let's see, what could the password for today be, though? If like yesterday was clusterfuckery. All right. The password is Drama Mamas, which is those other channels out there. I try not to. I try not to. So yes, Mr. Joe Egan, Steelers Wheel. After that, he went and did a solo album. 1979, he did, and then in 81. 79, he had some minor chart success in the UK, and in 81, he didn't have anything. And then you really don't hear anything about him for about a good little over a decade. When he, in 1992, on the Jerry Rafferty LP, Winging a Prayer, Joe Egan comes back to sing background vocals. I'm told he's all over that album. So in a way, you do get Steelers Wheel in essence. Ladies and gentlemen, my first two guests, both of you got, no, that's not a good visual. I was thinking of certs because they used to go two, but this looks like something else. And shit, YouTube, that's not what it is. Here we go. The password is double dog. No, that's not the password. They're laughing back there. YouTube's gonna be like, you son of a bitch. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, from one of the best people in the West, Jeff Kendall. And
hello.
Truthfully, I love this lady to death. I do. One of the best in my world. And she's so awesome. And damn it, I want to read the fan fiction. You got to send some. Ladies and gentlemen.
Hello.
Yay.
That's a shame about the Joe Egan, because they had Stuck in the Middle with You, and there was another song that was like a top 40. It's a song called Star.
I love Star. Yes.
Give me a sec. I got to turn the volume up on this. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I love Star.
So that's only, and also a member of the Oak Ridge Boys passed away as well.
Joe Bonsall, that's right. From Complications of ALS.
Hi, Tokyo. I'm right down the road from you.
Nice.
And if you want to know, I'm not going to tell you where I'm from, but look up Cleavon Little, the star.
Really?
And his hometown is my hometown. So
nice. Anyways, how you doing, sir?
Pretty good. It's been a crazy week, and it's only Wednesday.
You betcha. I'll tell
you. All kinds of stuff. Can I talk a little bit?
Of course you can.
We've been playing.
Of course you can.
We've been playing Musical Apartments.
Uh-oh.
Because a lady had to move out because her mom has cancer and she moved to Oklahoma City.
Oh.
Okay, we have a lady on the end who wants to move over here, and a young couple who is a friend of a couple over there wants this apartment. So it's kind of like,
wow,
kind of crazy, but it's going to be okay.
Don't mind me. I'm still straightening my hair.
That's okay.
That's all good. See, at least you got that. I don't.
Yeah. I mean, a long time ago, maybe. Long time ago.
I was gonna say in the 80s. I'll admit I had a mullet. Business in the front part.
Shame.
Yeah.
But then again, I also wore denim and leather too back in the late 80s. I used to be half.
When did you work in radio, Paul?
All right, let's see. Boy, this is going. Okay, so like I dabbled for 2 seconds in the 90s, but mainly it was 2000.
Okay.
To 2006.
Okay, I was much before you. I was 79 to 85.
I wish I was in that era
back
over there.
The records.
Yes. I would have loved that so damn much. But like I said, this is kind of half the reason why I do what I do here, is just to keep me from being stagnant.
Yeah.
I miss when I missed about, because you had to be like this. You had to be like this on the radio, even though, like, what was it on for one of the stations on a good day, because it was a college station. I think it was like 500 or 1,000 watts downtown.
Ooh, okay.
And the funny part about it is that I would get people, and I'm like, you shouldn't be calling me on the interstate.
Hmm.
And I'm like, then they're like, you know where I'm at right now? No, I don't. Why don't you care to explain?
Hmm.
I'm on the Eisenhower. I'm going.
Uh,
You shouldn't be calling me while I'm here on the Eisenhower,
Yeah.
because he was in he was doing it in a motorcycle. Okay,
Oh,
on the
okay.
Eisenhower. Well,
Well,
unfortunately,
calling on a motorcycle, steering with
and
one hand.
and so I found out seriously that I'd say a few months later
Hmm.
he died. Like,
oh,
yeah, like I think it was on the Eisenhower. I'm just like, it's somebody called me to tell me that
Mhm.
he's like, they loved your show, and I'm just like, wow. Well, seriously,
Typical.
thank you. Well, okay, here's the thing. So my first show from way back, and I think I've got some scoped radio tapes. Us DJs know what scope and an unscoped show is,
Mhm.
and it was used to be. It was called the geez, what did I get? The musical history tour.
Oh, okay.
That's what I called it. Okay,
All right.
I liked it that way, and so I could
Mhm.
play pretty much anything and everything from the 50s to the 90s. I had to put up with that. Was my Saturday morning 9 a.m. to noon crowd, the hangover crowd. Okay, and so if there's anybody listening to a damn radio station at Saturday morning being hungover and putting beer in their Cheerios and listening to this, boy oh
People
boy, I
are
don't.
very serious.
I used to have a relative that one day he was over for some reason. This was in the 70s when I was a kid,
Uh-huh.
and he put beer in the cornflakes.
Aw,
I've heard of
That's
it.
how bad. Yeah,
Mhm.
it did
aw.
not. It did not end well for this gentleman.
They can
He lived in Chicago, and he
Oh,
passed away right in the middle of brutal summer, kind of like this.
yeah.
But they didn't find him for over a
Oh no.
week.
Oh, that's like
No
one of my friends.
AC, and he was
Mhm.
in the Lazy Boy,
Yeah.
clutching
That's
a
like,
bottle of Jack. Seriously, that's how they found him.
I think
I'm
I
just
told
like,
you a
wow.
couple of years back, one of my friends I used to work with at Walmart, the same fate. He
Oh,
laid down on his
jeez.
couch and he died, and they didn't find him for almost a week.
Damn.
That's
Mhm.
unfortunate.
It's
Yeah,
it's a shame.
no kidding. I mean, I know what a downer, but we'll
Yeah,
get
but
out of we'll
everything's
get out
okay.
of this. But
Yeah,
no, Jeff. I mean, the thing is, we question our mortality every
I
day,
know.
and I know that I've been an asshole, in my life. I try not to be. Hey, Sean. But I mean, I've tried to make amends with at least some people that I remember, because I'm
Mhm.
not kidding. My memory is off. So it's like I may literally forget I did something dumb. I'm
Mhm.
like,
Yeah,
and I know
I'm
that some people,
I understand.
well, that's the thing though. I think some people would use that as an excuse, but I mean, I'm like, you, I mean, I had somebody come through my line earlier in the week and they're like, hey, how's it going? And I'm like, help me out, please, will
Yeah.
you? Oh, well, I used to come in here. Okay. Tell me how long ago? 8 to 10 years. Well, how the hell am I supposed to remember from 8 to 10 years ago?
Mhm.
I'm not that good. I just never was.
Mhm. I like to
Uh,
go to my Walmart early in the morning, and a few of the people I used to work with are working, and I'm retired, and I pushing my buggy, and hi guys, and they're putting the heavy stuff up, and because I used to work the overnight shift, so
yes.
mhm,
Night shift was a very
it was
interesting
fun.
bird.
My dad's
Yeah.
got stories about night shift as a clerk, so
Oh, yeah.
Met
See,
many people when Walmart was
yep.
24 hours. Oh man,
I'm told
And he worked with
they're never
tribes,
going
so
back.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm told
mhm.
they're never going back to that.
No,
yeah.
That's what I'm hearing.
mhm.
Now, I will tell you, and I'm sorry we haven't touched on music out there, guys, but this was
We'll
an
get there.
interesting news story. Yeah, we'll get there. There was an interesting news story I tripped on this morning. I'm sorry, I don't remember the source. It was a newspaper website. And that Target went off and announced, okay, and listen, ever since they went and majorly cut down on the CD section, they used to have good CD and DVD
Yeah.
sections.
Now they have nothing.
They have nothing. The last
Mhm.
time I bought a damn thing, this is how I'm always going to remember when I got my first time of COVID, because over the weekend, I went to Target because they were the only ones that had the 3 CD in the little box of All Things Must Pass. And if you bought it at Target, because they'd have to do a lot of exclusives, and I think there was like some stickers. I've got it somewhere. I don't know. And then I got sick over the weekend. I'm like, what? Oh, no, don't tell me. Yeah. So Target has announced that effective July 15th, that they will no longer in the stores except like you get to the counter, you're going to buy your goodies, right? Okay, I'll write out a check.
No more checks?
No more checks.
I'm surprised they were still doing checks. Honestly, I can't remember the last time I've seen anyone use a check in a store.
Well, here's the thing. I do have a handful of regulars weekly, but they are, I'll admit they're elderly, or it's a business check because I do get tax exempt people. So I'm sitting here and I'm thinking you're going, and I read there was an interesting statistic, but you can fudge statistics, but it was from 2022, and it said that only 7% of the nation still used checks in a retail environment. And I am just like, and they said that has gone down since then to like about 3 to 4%.
Wow.
And I warned these elderly people. I did. I said, you guys are lucky. I said, because I heard rumors. Now the rumors, and these rumors I heard 6 months ago, roughly. So now they're coming to fruition. But I'm like, being that it's the big Sparky, that they probably won't do that until the end of the year. I bet you January 25, they'll be like, nope, can't do it anymore. The other thing that cracked me up to no end was Target announced that at least in 2/3 of their retail stores, they are going to remove the self-checkouts. Why?
I heard.
Yes, and believe it or not, I had no problem. I 1 or 2. I'm the hell out of there. I don't have to be sitting over there, okay, with the rest of the people. And so they said, well, gee, why? Because of the shoplifting. And I'm like, no surprise there. So that is what you're looking forward to. Family Dollar's another one that's taking out their self-checks. I didn't know they had
any. And the
any.
ones that aren't taking them out, they're severely limiting how many items you can have and go through it.
You betcha.
Our supermarket that I go to every week, like they used to there was no limits on it, but they had so many people stealing shit just because they could, and they can't touch them. They can't even follow you out of the store or anything. So what's stopping them? So now 10 items or less. That's it. I'm like, thanks a lot. This is too people-y for me going through I don't like the judgment when they steal my junk food, damn it.
Sean throws an interesting bit here. And like I said, glad you're here, Sean. I've never seen you before. At my old dry cleaners, I used to clean the clown suit of the Walmart clown, oh my, that used to go to every grand opening. I've seen photographs of what he's talking about. I never got to go to any grand openings, so I don't know. He was a close friend of Sam Walton's. And so, Sean, none of my business. Are you still in the NWA area, or are you smart and got out? Because no, I'm teasing. I'm
Googling Walmart clown now because now I need to see this thing.
2 hours. 2 hours today, guys, because I can't. There's 2 reasons why, but 2 hours. I refuse to remember my dumb stuff. I've never done a dumb thing in my life. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. You betcha. Oh God, here we go. Okay. Hey, I saw Ronald McDonald at a New Beach over the weekend. He had Sesame Sons and he was rocking a Big Mac. Hey, no respect at all. Thank you. Self-checkout does steal jobs, and but here's the thing. Okay, I get it. If you only got a couple items, all right. Most of the time, I am the only. I'll admit, everybody knows I work retail. I am the only cashier.
Oh yeah.
During most of my shift, okay. So it's like, yes, but see, here's the thing. I've found out, and I've been proven that I am the fastest damn one they've got. Oh, and I know some people are going to say I'm full of shit, but
no, I believe it. My dad also had that title in his store once upon a time.
See, and my record is 8,000 IPH.
That's good.
I'm telling you. So, but the thing is, not everybody cares to I'm kind of half an ass in my store, but it's all for show because I enjoy it. I'm not like that when I'm outside of work. I'm like this, and I mean, we have like 10 self checks, and I said back when they did our remodel, I said, hey. That's too, and they lied to us in the first place. They said, "Oh no, you're only going to keep the 4 because that's what we had." 4 was on one side of the wall, manageable. You had your damn screen and you could watch everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's 10 units, and I'm telling you that's too much. And I don't object to keeping self check. I just think it needs to go back to the 4 and flip everything else.
Right.
Okay. So I don't know. I'm just an idiot, though. That only's been in retail for 32 years in January.
So you've been at Walmart for 32 years?
No.
Not just
I,
retail in general.
Oh, regional. How long have you been at
23 out of the
Walmart?
32. 17 right now, and then 6 before. So yeah, 23 out of the 32 years of my retail I've done.
Yeah. Did I tell you? Excuse me. Did I tell you this before? In Oklahoma, they have a 15-year retirement clause if you're full time for 15 years.
No kidding. Damn, I wish we had that.
Yeah.
Oh God, here. So Beetle Babe, we need to somehow make you some. No, we need to make you some bobbleheads. You'll sell them. Yeah.
Because it bothers them so.
Well, sometimes being a bobblehead is not a wrong thing.
Exactly. It's just like I'd rather be a bobblehead than talk over everybody all of the time. So
yeah,
I got away with that one. Okay, good.
No, I know where you're going with it.
Well, I've had a good day today. I'll just say it.
Yeah. But see, at my Walmart, I made it to 13 years before they decided to let me go. And I got a nice check from the company. And then my wife, I did not know my wife was dying of cancer.
Oh,
and
God.
I got a big check from her retirement of the Oklahoma City schools. So I lived a while until I was able to be on Social Security. So I've been doing okay. Yeah.
I'm not going to have an episode because I'm not trying to not do it. So that's only when I was trying to not do it that one day. And I'm not doing that again. It was bad. It was bad. The harder I tried not to do it, I literally couldn't focus on anything other than not doing it. I couldn't talk. I started biting my hand. It was bad. It's like, okay, I can usually hide the autism. That day it was out in full spades. So.
Well, it is what it is. We all have something. I'll tell you. I bet you I would not be surprised if I'm going to be an early candidate if I already don't have something dementia bullshit. And if I do, then I can just always pretend I have Tourette's so I have an excuse. Ladies and gentlemen, my next guest, I'm glad to have him here. I know he's a busy man. He's one of the best England has. This guy right here.
Oh.
Hello, David.
How are you doing?
Pretty good.
The gang's all here.
I look a bit sort of Vaseline lensed at the moment, don't I? Let's see.
Oh, I thought you were trying to do an old Richard stream.
Yeah, you look like somebody else that comes up here.
There we go. That's better, isn't it?
So we don't have that problem now.
Yeah,
it was a greasy fingerprint on my camera lens.
That's fine.
So many jokes to be made.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Paul, if we get to it, I found a $1 CD. So.
Oh, awesome.
So just one, but I found a $1 CD.
Well, let's see. In a minute or two here, we will go to the musical title.
That's fine.
Mother of the Sun Tastes Like Gold. I know. I come up with these weird ass titles. I'm proud of them. I'm really proud of them.
On this one, like usually I can try to figure out at least part of it, but this one, you got me. I have no idea.
Well, it's because they're newer releases, but they are from bands that we know. It's just even I got thrown. Oh God, Michael Nolan. Next time, skip the dance. It's Vaseline. Do. Okay. And before we, oh my God. All right. I didn't expect to be talking about STP. So I think I brought up in a couple shows back on how I purposely missing a lyric. Okay. The Splish Splash for Bobby Darin. So when STP's Interstate Love Song comes on, and I love Stone Temple, I do. But when I first heard that on the radio, I'm sitting here and I'm going, are they singing what I think they're singing? So I didn't give a shit. So instead of the real lyric, which is feeling like a rusty cage, I was always singing because it fit the way I would do it. I'd be like, feeling like a ham and mustard shake. And everybody be like, what the fuck? And I'm going, that's what it sounds
Yeah.
like. Go listen to it. And they'd be like,
I'm glad I'm not
holy
the only one who does shit like this, because
Yeah,
Randy
me
Scouse
too.
get there's like that line of "It's too easy humming songs to a girl in yellow dress. It's been a long time since the party and the room is in a mess." My mind turned this into "It's been a long time since the party and Keith Moon is in a dress," and I have the hardest time not singing it that way now. Ever since my brain made this link, it's like, and people are going, "What the fuck? It's not even close." I'm like, "It's close enough for me." So.
I think we could all do like a top 10 of songs that have been ruined by someone.
Yeah.
I mean, my little niece, my sister's kid, I used to play a lot of the sort of electronic 80s stuff, which won't surprise you, obviously. But stuff like Ultravox, Visage and stuff. And I like John Fox. Did John Fox make it over to? Yeah. And his first single after leaving the original Ultravox was called Underpass. He had what else did he have? That was My Face and No One Driving. But I loved that. I loved Underpass, and so I used to play that, and my niece would be there, and it's basically the chorus is one of those. It's just got the sort of electronic 80s synth and stuff, and then he goes very dramatically, "Underpass," that sort of thing. Of course, my niece would always go, "Underpants."
Of course she did.
Yeah. And to this day, I just can't. I can't hear that song without just singing Underpants.
Exactly.
It'll never
exactly
ever
like
be the same. It'll never be the same.
Oh, yeah.
Walmart Radio plays a song, and I think it's from Savage Garden.
Oh yeah,
It's one. It's ooh, don't know if I need you. That song, okay. It was one of their big hits. Well, almost in the beginning of it, it almost sounds like he's singing Chicken Cherry Cola, and I'm going, that's disgusting. I said, but that's what it sounds like. And so I get my friends, I'm like, listen to this for a second, because the song's coming back on the Sweet Days Later. And I go, tell me what that sounds like. And he'd be like, can't be that. What? Chicken Cherry Cola? Yes, I said, I'm not the only one. So yeah, the weirdest shit
Therefore
our
you
ears pick
Right.
up.
Okay, and us older guys remember on AM radio the Eagles' "Life in the Vaseline." Sure to make you lose your mind.
back to my
Tony
laptop.
Danza.
Yeah. Second Vaseline reference.
Yeah.
Have you seen Dead Wax 66, where he's just put "Smells Like Teen Spirit" as the mashed potatoes and brown gravy? Brilliant, yeah.
See, that's the thing about Weird Al. He made a living off all that kind of
Yes,
stuff. He really, really did. And it's like when you hear the real stuff, you're like, I can't. That's not what happens. I'm singing Weird Al in my head because I know how it goes, And it's like when another one bites the dust, it's like, no, it's another one rides the bus.
No one rides the bus, yeah.
Or I love rock and roll from Joan Jett. No, it's I love Rocky Road. I'm like, it's like, yeah. See,
Sometimes
yeah.
Sometimes I think you get, it's a language thing. Definitely in my small, sort of role as a producer from time to time, I was asked to produce the debut album by Dax and Roxanne, which is a Swiss metal band. If anyone knows of them, they're doing pretty well. But I produced their first album, and we went through the lyrics quite a lot because although they had pretty good English, because it's they're from Switzerland, they all spoke French, really. That was their kind of thing. And but we had brilliant talks about the lyrics. There was one where it was a really sort of like a really thumping 12-bar blues type thing, but really gritty, dirty guitars, nice wall of guitars and stuff. And it was there's a line in it which they had is coming at you like a washing machine. Right?
What?
And I said, what's that? And he said, oh, maybe how about coming at you like a sewing machine? And he goes, because it's relentless, isn't it?
Okay.
And I said, I don't think that's going to work in this country. And I said, why are you thinking? Yeah, well, it's the shake, isn't it? And I suppose, to them, washing machine probably sounds quite a cool thing to say because it's not in their language,
Yeah.
And so I did convince them to change it to wrecking machine.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you
exactly.
Because anytime I think of washing machine, I'm sorry about this, guys, or a dryer, I immediately go to Robot Chicken and the Humping Robot because that's all he does. And I'm like, when they did that thing where they were spoofing Grease, and the Humping Robot's got the leather jacket, like he's in the gang. He comes into the diner and he sees his lady love, aka the Wurlitzer jukebox, and starts going at it from the side. And you just hear the records are skipping. I'm like, oh my God, this is so stupid. But I was just like laughing till I was crying. Give me a second. I'm going to go make some more coffee. You three talk amongst yourselves, and then we're going to go finish this musical riddle.
Oh, right. Is there a musical
Tell me,
riddle?
or is it one of Jeff's cat?
Oh, they're all over the place.
Okay.
Oh, did you hear that one?
Yes. That's
He's
what
a
I'm like,
little-
all right, I hear a cat.
It's a male
Who's the
cat.
cat?
He wants to go out. He's not been fixed yet. He wants to go outside and get a female cat. So that's what he's wanting. So I don't want any
I got
more
a girl
cats.
puppy and she's not fixed yet, and it shows.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I really miss having a cat. I love having my cat. She's
Shame you can't live in Oklahoma. I'll give you a couple of mine.
Oh,
They're real
She's got
nice.
a bunch.
Mm.
well, the thing is, it's kind of. I had her for 12 years, and she died about 10, 11 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
But the thing is, when I first got her, I wasn't touring like I ended up touring. I was more sort of based at home.
Yeah.
And so she got to know me as her owner and stuff. And she was really she was a one-man cat, which was really sweet. I loved it. She didn't like anyone else except me. And I kind of liked that. And the thing is, obviously, when I went away on tour or something, when it started to pick up, if I was going out with someone at the time, I'd let them just have my house for the time that I was away, and they could look after the cat, or a mate would pop in and all that sort of stuff. That's fine. But then when she died, people saying, "Oh, you're going to get another cat." I was going away for 5 weeks at a time and stuff like that, and I thought
it's hard.
And I just thought, well, I can't do that. Even if someone would come in and feed her, I can't leave her alone for that amount of time and stuff. But I do miss having a cat because she was my I mean, I know everyone rolls their eyes when people start talking about their pets, but I think they reflect you. So she was so funny. But I mean, I'm sure it's like, I don't have children or anything, but it's like when people start going on about their kids that are really young, and I just start glazing over. It's not my thing.
I'd rather hear about the pets any day. So.
Yeah.
You see, my son likes to take in stray cats.
Right.
And if you don't get them fixed, you get more cats.
What? My sister found this out the hard way.
You
mean Slim Jim Phantom and Brian Setzer and all
those guys.
Those
guys.
Yeah. My sister's currently got 11 under her roof because of that. So it's like, you might want to get
like my son. About like my son.
That would have been.
Oh boy, yeah.
My sister with the 7 kids. I'm like, oh my God, why is your house chaos all the time?
Jeez. Yeah, it's not something that's ever appealed. I think I'm too selfish with time. I just think there's not much left. I mean, I'm 20 years time. I'm not going to be here probably. It's crazy. So I don't know. I'm too, like I say, I love my niece, and I'm a great uncle. She's just had a kitty, my little niece, my new great niece, great nephew. Sorry. My little great nephew, he's awesome. Every time I see him, I say hello and put my face next to him. He always grabs my jacket and pulls me in. So yeah, that's sweet. But it's good to wave him goodbye at the door.
Exactly. It's like my whole thing is I love kids as long as there's someone else's and I can hand them back at the end of the day.
Yeah. I got 10 grandkids.
Oh,
as of last year, 10 grandchildren.
Well, my son hasn't been that lucky, so I just got the one son, so. He's 30 years old.
7 of the nieces and nephews are from one sister, 3 are from the brother, and then my other sister just got married last month, so she hasn't started yet, but she wants them like yesterday, so I'm sure there will be. But...
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Did you have fun at the wedding, by the way?
It was a hot out, but it was nice though.
It was cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like I got very drunk. There's videos somewhere of me dancing very drunk with glow sticks on the dance floor. And I'm like, I swear to God, Kimmy, you post that online, you die.
Oh, with glow sticks. Sorry, I thought you. Sorry. See, because I'm on here, it's like that glow stick could be the name of someone like Flow State or something. You know, that's
I don't
on
know. I mean literal glow sticks.
glow sticks, right? Okay.
Yeah.
What the hell are you doing? I was like, I'm having fun. Leave me alone. You want people to dance. I have my glow sticks. Leave me alone.
Mhm.
Oh my God. You would have been great at concerts. Something
I
tells
can't
me.
imagine drinking enough to be able to dance. I must say, I can't dance. It's weird. I'm a decent, as you maybe you've looked and maybe you haven't, but I'm a pretty decent drummer. But when I stand up, that's where my rhythm finishes.
Mhm.
Hmm.
I
can
never
sit-
said I'm good at dancing. I just said I was drunkenly doing it.
Yeah, but you were able to at least mentally stop the fact that people might be watching you thinking you're a
It doesn't
complete.
take much booze with me.
Mhm.
But yeah, I can't believe what a lack of rhythm I've got if I'm on 2 feet. If I'm sat on a stool with all 4 limbs going, I'm actually pretty good. But the minute I just start doing the chicken wing things and looking like my dad used to. It's just bizarre. No sense of rhythm whatsoever. Awful.
I'm a lousy dancer. I just am.
I bet
Slow
you've got-
dance, fine.
Yeah.
I bet
The rest of it.
You've got some mood. I can see you
Mhm.
break dancing in the 80s,
Oh my God.
tearing off a helicopter in the middle of the street or something.
That'd be,
Pretty
the-
that
sure
oh,
would
my
have
yeah,
been
dancing
funny.
was more like an epileptic fit, but I don't care.
Yeah, with the strobe lights.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
Oh
God.
God!
And
Everyone
I'll
doing
run
the-
into
Well, it was dark with strobe lights, so I was like, this is the
Yeah.
perfect time, and I have them on
Mhm.
me. This is happening.
Mhm.
hey.
Love it, love it, love it.
Like, don't ask why I keep glow sticks in my purse, but I do.
It is true, Michael. My kids are the best thing in my life. It changes something in you when you are responsible for a new life to mold into a future classic
Yeah.
rock band. You
Yeah.
betcha. Ladies and gentlemen, another person that's one of the best in the West, along with Jeff Kendall and a handful of others. That's right.
Hey.
Mr. Jazzman
Hey,
Hi
what's up?
guys.
himself.
I was doing good build-ups for people.
I
So
try.
now this is where I have to revert to DD, and he's the David. He's the OG, he's the OG David.
See, that's the thing. You're the musical daredevil, sir. You can go off and
You're-
pretty much use any instrument, and that's beautiful. The musical jack of all trades. I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
All right. So we go into,
Just a second.
for just 2 seconds, my ugly mug here. Mother of the Sun tastes like gold.
No.
Now explain the title.
Thank you. So a couple of years ago, this classic 70s band, they put out a new album. And I mean, it went under my radar for quite a while until I found out they were going to be playing the Casino, not too far away from me. But this lineup here that I'll mention, it is autographed. That's the neat thing. I didn't have to pay a ridiculous amount of money for this, but it's basically run. I'll just show you this in general, then we'll talk.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Jefferson Starship. And I know
Okay.
some people are like, well, wait a minute, how the hell does that work? Since Kantner's dead and Grace
Mhm.
doesn't want to do anything, and
Mhm.
in that. And so Dave Freeberg, who was he was the original bass player for Jefferson Starship. He was there for like, I think, a decade, actually. So
Mhm.
he's on all the stuff you guys would know.
Right.
He went to Grace and the Kantner estate, and he got permission to license the name. So it's him and Donnie Baldwin, who was a drummer in the 80s
Hmm.
for Starship. So yeah, Mother of the Sun. And you got an interesting gatefold here on this. It's a 7-tracker, but like I said, it's signed by everybody that's in the band currently. And yeah, and then it's a little heavy of a record, and then your female lead is Kathy Richardson, and if that name sounds familiar to you, good for you. If not, she actually is from, or should I say, at least she lived in the Chicagoland area for quite some time. She was the original okay, so we had like not a Broadway production, okay, but we had the Schubert in Chicago,
Mhm.
and there was a play called Love Janice. She
heard
was
of that.
Janice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
yeah,
was the, and
Southland.
so she could
Mhm.
wail. Yeah, and every night she got to. And of course, he's dead now, but Sam Andrew from Big Brother and the Holding Company.
Mhm.
And so let's see. Okay, so it's just heavy 180 black vinyl.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so that's that part.
Sounds
And then, yes, then we go to a 90s band
Mhm.
for this one. And remember, I showed you guys that Jude album in the last episode, right?
Yeah.
For Julian. Well, the vintage stock there went off, and they were like, you know what? For all the stuff that's got a red sticker, it's buy one get one. And I was
Okay.
planning on getting Julian anyway, which, by the way, was only $9.99. That's all
Very
I
nice.
paid for that. So I'm like, well, if I get another one, then it only comes out to $4.50.
Mhm.
Well, this I don't know. I guess we could say this was a one-hit wonder, but I went and heard the title track, and I don't mind it so much. From Lit, My Own Worst Enemy.
Yeah, I remember that
Yeah,
one.
and but look at the cover though. It almost kind of gives me that Miley Cyrus Dead Pets video. If
Oh
you
my
guys
god, I
ever
forgot
seen
about
that,
that. Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, it's a front and the back on this, and it's regular. It's regular, a little heavy vinyl also, but it also comes with this, which of course shows you the band currently. Or I think this album's from 2022 though, so excuse me. So then you've got all your lyrics, and then you got all your credits on the back. So that is Mother of the Sun,
Mhm.
Tastes Like Gold.
Sounds good. Now,
You
Paul,
betcha.
you must say about David Freeberg. You know who
Yes.
he was with before the Starship?
Oh,
He was
you
in a San Francisco
betcha.
band called Quicksilver Messenger
Oh,
Service.
That's-
Quicksilver. Yeah.
Mhm.
How about another hit of Fresh Air?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I love that song.
Mhm.
Let's see,
So
what's this? Sorry. What's it? Okay, yeah, all right. Oh, I see. I knew this was going to be
Well,
coming, but you see, now hang on a minute. I know, but like I said, I'm an autographed chow hound. Okay,
Mhm.
and so I have, and eventually I'll pull that up. That didn't sound right. Anyways, I have a Kantner autograph for when
Ooh,
he came
yeah.
to do the benefit concert.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, Marty Ballin did have the art gallery. I was actually in communicado with him weeks before he passed away, or should I say, not Ballin himself, but at the gallery, the go-betweener, if you will.
Mhm.
Yeah, yes. Fake band alert. I understand that. I research. I know you do too. I don't know how many of us out there research the bands before they go to a concert. If you know that it's going to be okay, it's a tribute band like Little River Band, pretty much, and Grassroots, and a few other ones where there's no original members, nobody on the records. And if you know that, then whatever, fine. You know that. But for me, it's like I'll stay away from stuff like that. Okay, just like with Foreigner currently right now.
Right.
And Mick's not there, but it's understandable. I mean, he's got all those heart problems.
Right.
Oh boy, what is this? Rocky 29. Da, 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 da.
Rocky 29.
Yes.
I just sometimes think the band should just change their name. I
Yeah.
agree in a way with what Michael Nolan's saying, in that but the thing is, if they're making good music, they should try and let it stand on their own. I think my personal dip into that was I got a phone call asking if I could do a tour for Sham 69. Do you know who Sham 69 are?
I know the name, but I have
They're
not heard the music.
British punk band with a lot of British hits for sure. With
Nice.
If the Kids Are United, Hurry Up Harry, all that sort of stuff. It's sort of it's a kind of like football terrace or soccer terrace anthem type sort of punk rock, And I was really excited because I got like 5 or 6 Sham 69 albums in my other room, and I knew they were only on a 2 original members thing. I didn't realize that I was actually replacing the guitarist, who was like, why are you still calling it Sham 69? And I suddenly realized I was in a band with no completely original members. Even the drummer, who was sort of he didn't play on a lot of the hits, but he came in afterwards. So he'd been in the band for like 27 years, but he wasn't on the big hits. And I found it a little bit awkward because they gave me their new album that they'd just finished, and it was fantastic, really, really good. But they shouldn't have called it Sham 69, because then, about 5 years later, the real original Sham 69 did reform and started playing really big festivals and stuff like that. And I felt sorry for the others because they are a brilliant band. They're just not Sham 69. But obviously, if you don't know who they are, you don't know what I'm talking about. Well, you can make it. You can place it with any band that you've got in your own head. I like Jefferson Airplane myself. Even changing to Starship was a bit weird. I'm not really into the sort of Built This City. I'm much more into bless its pointy little head. That sort of stuff. That's my bag, man.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I mean, I think if you're not gonna, if you don't have enough to justify having a band name, then you should at least like maybe take your band name from maybe one of the songs or something and just say a tribute to the great blah blah blah. And just go that way.
Their last album was called Hersham Boys. Why not do it as Hersham Boys? Everyone would know. It was everyone would know. It's like when the Cure do secret gigs. They go under the name Five Imaginary Boys. If you ever see that outside a small club, when they're playing a big stadium, they might want to do a warm-up gig. If you see Five Imaginary Boys, get down there because it's probably the Cure. I mean, mind you, that's probably been ruined by tribute bands now. Isn't it? People just go. Yeah, I saw Iron Maiden in a pub that held like 80. And it was because their roadies, a couple of their roadies had basically opened a pub where I live, and so for the opening night they played but they did it under the name the Nodding Donkeys, which is the B-side of their Clairvoyant single, is the Nodding Donkeys Blues. So. And it was in the Iron Maiden lettering, so I caught on quite quickly. And I just sort of leaned over the bar and just said, "Should I buy a ticket to this?" And he goes, "I would if I was you."
Nah, nice. I got to admit, that's one I wanted to see. I haven't seen Maiden yet. I mean, I don't know why. I don't really have much of a good excuse, I guess. But like, all right, MTV, early MTV was how I knew about Maiden because of Wrathchild. That was like the first damn thing I remember seeing from Maiden with Paul Di'Anno, and I'm going, oh, okay. And they're like, oh, Bruce Dickinson, huh? I'm like, it only took just 2 seconds to figure out why they called him the air raid siren. I said, okay, well, I like this guy too. So, I don't know. I keep hearing that Di'Anno's going to try again, and I'm going, yeah, you're on thin ice, I think. I think really, I thought his health wasn't so good anyway.
That's what I had heard.
But yeah, I'd probably say the Trooper's my favorite song. Seriously.
I love that as well. I've got the Trooper-shaped picture disc.
Nice. See, I know what you're talking. Right in my head again. Yes. Kick ass.
But one of my saddest vinyl stories relates to Iron Maiden. They did a record signing in 1982 here in Norwich, and I was 13, something like that. And I went down and I had my copy of Killers, and they all signed it, all of them.
Yes.
And Clive Burr, because I'd been saying to him, I made a beeline for him, and I said, "Oh, I'm a drummer, And he wrote on the inner sleeve to David, "Keep rocking those skins." Something like "Lots of love, Clive Burr." And when he died, I went to look for it, and I suddenly realised someone had stolen it.
Oh God!
No.
Apart from the monetary value of a fully signed Killers from 1982, it's just that Clive Burr's gone now, and that was it. Like I'd never have sold it, never. Luckily I did have Women in Uniform 12-inch, and they signed that as well. But it's a dark sleeve, that one. It's in biro back in the days before Sharpies happened, and so it is fully signed, but it didn't look as brilliant as Killers. And also, like I say, the white inner sleeve, plain white inner sleeve, was written on by Clive Burr, and he was a favourite of mine when I was a little kid. You know,
Wasn't it?
anyone who had a mountain of toms like Roger Taylor and stuff like that, you know,
Wow.
it's like the drum fill in Sheer Heart Attack by by Queen.
Yeah, yeah,
Builds and builds, and then he goes to
yeah.
Yeah.
fucking marvelous.
Oh God.
What do you think about them continuing with Queen after Freddie Mercury's death?
Again,
That's not Queen.
at least they're calling it.
Oh,
At least they called
something.
it with. At least they
Yeah.
called it Queen with Paul Rogers. You know.
yeah.
Mhm.
But I'm personally, I feel more like John Deacon did, where he just said, "That's it. We can't. I'm not carrying on without Freddie." You know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and it's crazy. It's such a chemistry thing, that band.
Mhm.
Such 4 different disparate personalities that somehow molded together brilliantly and perfectly, and all respected each other. And it's a rare thing, you know.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm not interested in what's the X Factor guy or Americans Idol.
yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, Lambert.
What's his
Ed
name?
Lambert.
Lambert,
Yeah.
a great singer. I'm sure he's fantastic, and that you know,
But
he
it's
can
not
certainly-
Queen.
It's not
he can,
Right.
but he's not that guy.
Mhm.
He's not that guy.
And that's the same thing you could say about Yes, because John Anderson's not in Yes. Chris
Exactly,
Squire's dead. Alan
and for
White's
me, as
dead.
I'm
you
a sort
know?
of fair weather
Like,
yes fan or
what's
whatever.
going on?
So it's kind of John Anderson is yes. So John Anderson
Yeah.
and Rick Wakeman are who I think of when I think of yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know,
True.
I was a
But
big
yeah.
Yes fan in the day, but I mean, it's time to let them all go down in the sunset. Just
Yeah.
mm.
I mean, let's face it. What is it? 60, 67? I think 67, 68. That's when Yes started. So I mean, that's 55 plus years,
Yeah.
at least of having the name around anyway. But yeah, I mean,
That's when I came into being. I'm as old as yes. Fuck
Oh.
me.
see, September 67 for me.
Mhm.
Right, August
Yeah.
67.
Nah.
for me.
See, there you go. There you go. I'm telling you,
There's
summer of
another
love,
group
or
of
summer of
David-
love babies.
The day before the Manson murders.
Mhm.
Oh my.
Jeez.
There's
It wasn't-
another English group I've always liked. It the people change, like the Asia that
Oh,
formed
yeah,
in
yeah.
1982. And John Witten's dead, and
Mhm.
Steve Howell's not in it anymore. It's all different people now. I mean,
Yeah, but I suppose it depends on the ones that are still left standing. I mean, you know, you guys all know that I was involved with the Cure in the early 80s and stuff.
Mhm.
And like the Cure is another one. Is that to me the Cure is always Simon, Lowell, and Robert, because those are the guys that I hung around with. And then in 1984, when I was actually sort of standing in rehearsals, there you go. Once upon a time.
This is a
Mhm.
2-record set, 17
Yeah.
seconds in phase.
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah.
Mhm.
It's on A&M, isn't it? It's on A&M. It's the only album that's on A&M, I think.
Yeah, this is how it was released in the United States, I think, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. But
it's
even
pretty
in
good.
1984, they had sort of, Phil Thornley had replaced Simon, and
Yeah.
Lowell decided not to play drums and go on to keyboards and stuff like that. So when I see him now, and it's basically just Robert and Simon, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, yeah.
They've got Reeve Gabrels, who's a lovely bloke. I've met him many times, nice guy. Jason Cooper on drums and that, but I've never had a conversation with Jason Cooper. So whenever I see the Cure, it's not the Cure for me.
Mhm.
It's Robert and Simon fronting this still brilliant show,
Mhm.
But yeah, to me it was Lowell, Robert, and Simon will always be the Cure, because that's
Mhm.
the era that I was involved, if you know what I mean. That went
Yep.
south pretty quick.
Mhm. Oh, that's okay.
No, actually, I mean,
Robert Smith's still in the group, I guess. Yeah.
Reeves was playing actually in Eureka Springs at Chelsea's, which is like the big nightclub over there. Eureka Springs is a beautiful area, but they really don't. They do not have very many performing venues. Okay, and when I found out that he was coming to Chelsea's with his band, whoever that was, I'm trying to think. Jess was still alive, so
It was called. They were called Reeves Gabrels and His Imaginary Friends, I think, was the
Mhm.
something like that. Yeah. And so I was like, I wanted to go because I'm like, I didn't know about the Cure thing. I didn't. Where I remembered him from
Tin
was
Machine.
Tin Machine. And
Yeah.
I'm going,
Yeah.
what the hell? And I'm like, and my bestie Donna Joquette lady, she's a huge David Bowie fan. She's really been trying to dig into the catalog, and I'm like, well, do you know anything of the Tin Machine records? And she's like, what? And I'm like, shared her Under the God. And so, gave her a little taste of that, but I couldn't go. So I went and said, hey, can you kindly, so he signed, damn it. It was a David Bowie album. He was on, David's Got His Back Turned, and he's wearing a long coat. I can't remember the title of that one.
Yeah. It's, is it Heathen, that one?
Maybe
I know which one. I know which one. He's got a British.
Yeah, I can picture. I'm trying to remember which one it is.
Yeah.
So he signed that one, and then he signed that first Tin Machine album for me on CD. So, and he even threw in some guitar picks too, because I mentioned that. So, The Cure, yeah. I like I said, they've never come around here. Closest was Kansas City all these years, and I was just like. Oh well.
I mean, I think they're amazing. I mean, I just think Robert's an amazing writer, and obviously an amazing personality and all that sort of stuff. And Simon and him are like sort of twins, and they still do a good thing. I'm not putting them down at all. It's just, to me, that's not the Cure I kind of was, wrapped up in sort of thing. Once Lowell left, basically, because Lowell was my sort of mate. He was my proper mate, and when he left after Disintegration, I really was only just a guest from then on in terms of going to say hi to the others and that. It wasn't
Earthling was the album, by the way.
Which one?
Earthling.
Thank you. Earthling.
Yeah. I was like, I knew it was like a one-word title. I was like, God dang it, which one it was? I have to double check.
Yeah, that's why I went for Heathen, because I knew it was it's a two-syllable one.
But yeah, we were trying to do what I call Jessica's trilogy of her favorite 90s bands, right? So the first one we went to was Violent Femmes, which I only knew one song, but by the time I got out of there at Kane's Ballroom in Tulsa, I became a fan. And I ended up meeting Brian, the bass player, really cool. I think it was the year 2017.
Oh, you sound like an 80s remake. You've gone weird.
He's freezing.
I was trying to figure out if it's my internet, but no, I think it's his.
No.
It might be. I don't know.
He's frozen. He's frozen in a particularly manly pose.
Yeah.
There he is. He's coming at you.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
But Bush was the other one.
Still trying.
Nuts. Yeah, she went nuts when she saw Gavin.
There
She's
you
such
go.
a huge Gavin fan. Yeah, sorry guys. I don't know. This,
okay.
Even though this laptop's great, once in a while it'll do a few seconds of nonsense.
Well, I think it has to do with the connection, not the computer.
Well, maybe. But like I said, this, even though they fixed it due to the tornado,
it's still a little.
Wow.
Well, I'll take this opportunity to say to Tokyo Record Style, who I love his channel. For some reason, he's put Kane's Ballroom mention. Yes, and when he said that, I also went yes, because I played there. That's fucking awesome.
Oh.
Yeah, first American tour we did Kane's Ballroom in Tulsa, and we were in the big room, and in the secondary venue, which is still on there, it was the guy that played Elvis in I Walk the Line. I know that's the Johnny Cash. You know the Elvis in the Johnny Cash film.
I see
it was that guy, but they like, because I'm a Pistols fan and stuff. They were showing me the bit of dressing room wall where Sid apparently had a knuckle duster and punched the wall. And
yeah,
because it's him, they put some perspex over it. They screwed a piece of perspex over it and then put a little thing saying Sid was here. And it was just, because I've seen bootleg footage of that gig, I've always enjoyed playing venues that I've seen brilliant gigs in. Like I've got a real thrill playing the 100 Club in London. That's where all the Pistols did their early stuff. The Royal Albert Hall, because it's just like wow. And in America, it was Kane's Ballroom was a big one, and also Longhorn Ballroom in Texas. We played as in Dallas, Texas. That's the second to last Pistols gig in '78, where things were really, Sid Vicious was off his nut and what have you. It was all falling apart for him. The only one after that was Winterland, and I'm incredibly jealous that Mazzy from the VC. He was at Winterland. He went to Winterland, saw the Pistols. Jeez.
Yeah.
But being Mazzy, he's not really that fussed. So I was like, "Oh, tell me about it." And he goes, "Oh, well, it's just another." Because he only lived around the corner at the time, didn't he? So he was always at Winterland.
Yeah, I used to live in the Tulsa area a few years in the 70s. I heard stories of the Sex Pistols being booed off the stage.
Yeah. Well,
and there was
shouted at and thrown at.
Oh,
and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. And there was another story I heard on this Tokyo Record Style. You may have heard of this. Kiss was playing Tulsa, and either Gene Simmons or Paul Stanley was hit by a bottle.
Really?
It was cursing the audience. That would have been about 76, 77.
Well, I'm very glad.
I believe
they were very nice to us.
Oh yeah,
very nice to us.
There was my high school years. So
and we played BB King's in New York, Times Square in New York as well. That was amazing. That was fantastic. I had a picture of myself stood out because they put your name on the on the thing outside. So there's a picture of me stood under there just going. But it's great. The venues that have got some sort of history are awesome, and also played the two places in New Jersey. There's a place called the Stone Pony, and apparently that's where Bruce Springsteen started and all that sort of thing. And there's a bowling alley called the Fast Lane, I think, or it's next to a bowling alley. It wasn't a bowling alley, it was next to it. And I've seen a bootleg video of Gigi Allen playing there and being quite a mess. And I didn't do anything like pay tribute to the man by shooting in my hands and throwing it at anyone. But I don't know. It's just like because that video is so nuts, and I was just looking around, and like with Longhorn Ballroom, nothing's changed. The same guy owns it, who has owned it in 1978. And so for me, it was a bit like going into a church. Do you know what I mean? It was like my church of rock and roll. Well, you must have done it. Like, do you remember on Rachel's Ghost the other day? I told the story about playing the piano in Abbey Road Studio 2, and of course, the first thing you do in there is John Lennon's piano. And you immediately play an E major because it's the last one on Day of the Life. That clang, and it's the acoustics in there are so incredible. It takes about 5 minutes to completely disappear. Do you know what I mean? It's maybe not, maybe 2 minutes, but it's long. It's a long time. You just go clang. Hold it. It's coming off the walls, and then you look up, and there's the glass where. You've seen so many pictures of George Martin standing in that glass and that, and the guys in the lab coats, and I'm a music fan, just like everybody else, first and foremost. So I get really excited about doing Daphne Guinness's album with the Dark Side of the Moon mixing desk just for the drums, and it's like, whoa, you're joking, And then Tony Visconti got this other sort of really old looking thing, and that was an Abbey Road thing as well. It was one of the Beatles desks, one of the 4 tracks that he used. And I said, what are we using this for? And he goes, it's got great EQ, Dave. It's got great EQ. I'm not a technician. I don't know what he's speaking about, but I just know that we had the Dark Side of the Moon desk and one of the Beatles desks in this place. And I just stood there with my hands on it, hoping to get some sort of cosmic type of talent coming through,
Yeah.
So there you go.
Sorry about that, everybody.
I was just we talk amongst ourselves. Yeah.
No, I got to see about almost a minute of this because I actually was going to go back through my phone, but actually, like I said in my little comment here, StreamYard said they're having an error. It kicked me off, and it said we're trying, and I'm like, you SOBs.
But they could have done it.
Yeah, so and I'm very trying. Speaking on Tulsa and playing pianos in studio, you got to play Imagine on the piano at the Church Leon Russell studio. Good God, man. I want to end up going there. I hope maybe they'll allow me to shoot a video in the church studio. I would think that would be interesting for some people, especially considering that Leon Russell was one of the, what do we want to call it, cornerstones of they call it the Tulsa sound. And it was him and J.J. Cale and a bunch of other fun people. So, yeah.
Yeah, while you were away, I was just saying that, I've been to Kane's Ballroom, and when you said it, I just thought, oh, wow, I remember that so much. So
there's a wonderful book from Neil Monk and he talks about that. That was his gig before he went to Van Halen.
Do you mean Noel Monk?
Noel Monk. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not with
Well,
it. I'm still working on this.
Tour manager for the Sex Pistols as well.
Yeah, and so they were, and then they showed photographs, from that Tulsa gig, and I'm like, that's the first time, because I didn't go in there yet. So as soon as I walked in there, when I saw Violent Femmes, it's like, I'm not kidding you. It's like I absorbed whatever was in the room.
Yeah.
Like all of this energy.
Exactly what we've been talking about while you were away.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, guys. That was
No.
crazy. I mean, to think, Hank Williams Sr., Elvis, Johnny, all of them, anybody that was anybody came through and played that. And yeah. Oh yeah. It's just fun stuff. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, you betcha.
Malcolm McLaren was the Pistols manager.
He was their manager, tour manager. Noel Monk was put in. He was like they were signed to Warner Brothers in the States, and so Warner Brothers gave them Noel Monk as a tour manager for the American Bowl. It's only 12 days. 12 days, but he wrote a book about it, and it was it's even if you don't like the Pistols, it's a fascinating book.
Oh, I do like them though. So.
If you just want to read about a band imploding on itself and just finding, you have to remember they were all about 20, like 19.
Oh yeah, real young,
old. And they were getting things like pigs' noses hurled at them in the middle of gigs, and it's like they were as much as what they seemed. They were just four lads that just wanted to be in a band, And it was like, it's so strange. So much of the punk thing happened by accident. The whole putting safety pin thing with the clothes is just because Lydon was really poor. And it was cold. And so when his jumper started to go through and what have you, he would just get some safety pins out of his mum's basket of stuff to do. And he would safety pin his clothes together, And it wasn't this big. And then McLaren would see it and put it in his shop and say, oh, let's do T-shirts held together with safety pins. But it was Lydon's idea through just sheer necessity.
Wow.
Viv Albertine told me that she made a pair of trousers out of dustbin bags because she hadn't got any money to buy trousers, but she thought maybe she could run up if she got some of those like black plastic things. And there's pictures of her wearing a pretty cool pair of trousers.
There are about the Sex Pistols. There are some Tulsa news footage of them trying to interview the Sex Pistols. Sticking the mics in their faces, and I remember seeing that. So it's out there someplace.
I mean, musically, the worst thing that ever happened to them was losing Glenn, to be honest, because Glenn wrote 10 of the 12 tracks on Never Mind the Bollocks. And I think losing him, and he was the only one that was kind of balanced, and and what have you. But he just him and Lydon just butted heads. Like, it just happens, doesn't it? We see it on here, don't we? It's just like some people just can't get on, and you don't know why it is. I was round Glenn's once when he took a call from John Lydon, and he took it outside, and I was looking through the window, I could just see Glenn walking around in a circle, going, "Yeah, but." And he just had this look on his face like he was talking to an ex-wife or something, And you don't know what goes on underneath. People always say, "Oh, they should reform and stuff," but it's difficult if two people just, they respect each other, but they can't stand each other's company. That's the trouble,
Right.
But there you go. I think Sid was but people forget he was only in the band for 9 months.
Yeah, not even a year.
Yeah.
See, and that's why I think in a way that Glenn, in a way, got the shaft, because I'm like, everybody remembers Sid Vicious because of all the crazy shit in that short amount of time. I'm like, well, wait a minute. I'm like, you can't ignore this. It's like, that ain't right. But I
think finally it has balanced. I think when they reformed in 96, a lot of people who was thinking, oh, Sid, they started to learn that Sid was John's mate. Glenn had enough. He wasn't fired. It's such bullshit. That story just keeps going and going. He'd had enough.
See, I didn't know that. I thought he was fired. I don't know where I heard it from, but yeah.
No, Mike Thorne from EMI knew that him and Lydon were butting heads, but he also knew that Glenn was the main songwriter. So he quietly said to him, you know, look, I hope you sort this out. You know, it'd be a real shame if you don't stay in the band. But if you do decide to leave, I'll just let you know that like EMI will sign anything you put together after this. So as like an 18-year-old, he's got that in his head, that basically this guy that makes his life a fucking misery and doesn't like any of his ideas and keeps telling them just drop dead every time he tries to suggest something. But he's been offered to put his own band together. And the Rich Kids were in fact signed. They were the highest. It was the biggest advance that was given to a band in EMI's history up to that point, was the Rich Kids. You know, it was probably something like £40,000 or something, which sounds nothing now, but do you know what I mean? But it was like a huge amount at the time. And I don't think Glenn sort of regrets that. I think he regrets things like how democratic the band were, because if they weren't like that, he'd get all the money from Pretty Vacant because he wrote all of it. But because they decided they wanted to be a democracy, it didn't matter who started off the idea, who wrote this, that, and the other. It was 25% each, whatever happened. Which, yeah, that is a good thing. But when you've written an entire song yourself, it must be a bit galling. But I think he's cool now. That I mean, he's the bass player in Blondie now. He gets to do his own stuff as well as be in the band Blondie. He's guested with Iggy Pop and the Damned and stuff like that. I think he's had an amazing career, and he's still doing the music he wants to do. So for my money, Glenn, I know he's a friend of mine, but I do think he's the most punk out of all of them, really, because he's gone and continued to do exactly what he wants, which is what punk is. He's doing what you want, you know. He's doing what you feel comfortable with. Whereas, you know, John Lydon's gone off all sorts of places trying to be a bit more commercial maybe and that sort of thing, doing butter adverts and all that sort of stuff. You know, Jonesy had his Jonesy's Jukebox on the radio and all that sort of stuff. Paul's done session stuff, but Glenn's really the only pistol, if you like, that has just carried on making albums, doing gigs, you know, big or small, just getting it on there. So got a lot of respect for Glenn. I think people have now. I think the balance has gone back now that people realize Sid was Sid, but he wasn't very talented, and he was, as Viv Albertine said to me, he was a lovable idiot, and that's all he was. He wasn't cool, you know. He wasn't cool. He got, you know, that woman got hold of him. He lost his mind. Heroin came along, and there's just never a good end to that. There's never a happy ending to a heroin story, you know. So, but Glenn was the guy that was, you know, he wrote all the songs with him in the first 3 years. And Sid came in for 9 months, and I can't do the maths of it, but 1996 to now, how many years Glenn been in the Pistols now? Was it 28 or something?
28, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Sid was in it for 9 months, and you know, and had no hand in writing songs really. You know. So there you go, children.
Yay!
Here's Ted with the weather.
I had a question earlier. I can't remember who posted it. Any Jimmy Page encounters?
For me?
Yes.
No, but close. I was recording in a studio called The Animal House, recording a single there, and I got there late because what we were doing, we were having downtime, which any musician will tell you, it's where you know someone in a studio, and for slightly less money than normal, once the main people have gone for the day, you can go in and do some recording at night, you know, for a lot less money and stuff. So I was on that. So I turned up there. I walked straight into the kitchen. It's a big open plan thing with a kitchen on the right-hand side and then a big lounge area. I could see there was someone watching the telly, but I thought I'd make myself a cuppa straight away. So I make a tea and I go wandering over to the settee, and I sat down on the sofa. And that's the only time I then sort of moved my head to say, hiya, whoever this guy was there. And it was Robert Plant.
Oh, shit.
I did such a double take. I think I did a sort of comedy. If you'd have done a sound effect, it'd be like. But yeah, it was amazing. And I went, oh, hiya. And he went, oh, hi there. You know, how are you doing? And I said, you know, do you want a cup of tea? I made him a cup of tea, and I asked what he was doing. He was doing demos for. It was one of his 80s albums, because this was about 1988, I think, 87, 88.
And maybe Now and Then.
Those like the
Oh
words,
yeah. Mhm.
the Hurting Kind and stuff. It was after Big
Mhm.
Log and that sort of thing, but it was the Hurting Kind. I think was one of the tracks I remember.
Manic
playing.
Nirvana. That's
Yeah, maybe that one.
Manic
I'm afraid
Nirvana.
he's someone I've got a lot of respect for, and I've got a ton of Led Zeppelin in the other room and stuff. But I don't know them like, say, I know the Pistols or that sort of thing. I don't know like who Jimmy Page's kids are or
That's
anything
okay.
like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So so that was yeah. There you go. That's
I've brought up
my Led Zeppelin connection, if you like.
Zeppelin's a great band. That's one of my
very
favorite.
much.
Oh yeah, I love them, like I say, but they are one of those bands that oddly I just either listen to or watch. I've never really delved into. I know bits and pieces about them, you know. If they're putting anything new on vinyl, hopefully, I'm hoping that the Peaceful Cacophony stuff is. We are definitely doing the album on vinyl, but I'd like to do the single. But my 7-inch clear vinyl of the Venus Reaction is still available from Bandcamp. Available at a very, very reasonable price, and starring not only myself but the very gorgeous Amy Conradine, Glenn Matlock on bass, and Ed Graham from The Darkness on drums. So it's
Nice.
a bit of an all-star affair, except me, if you know what I mean. But yeah, it's a cracker. There's not many of those left, to be honest. And I said there's no repress on that because I just wanted it to be a special. It's not on the internet. It's nowhere. It's only available on a 7-inch vinyl. I pissed the record company off by saying don't put it on Spotify. I don't want it. You know. David never. What did he say? David's never offered to
He
make.
said
me tea.
David never offered to make me tea. Anyone else in the peanut gallery been offered tea by David? Inquired minds want to know. That's sponsored by Earl Grey.
Yeah, sorry. Everyone's a bit far away. That's the trouble. You know, it's you're all a bit far away. I'm here in the UK. It's 1:35 in the morning. What is it where you are?
7:35 for me at Central Standard Time, Midwest US.
Here's two.
Right.
35 here.
Really? Oh, so you're 2 hours behind Paul and really behind me.
Mountain
Wow.
Time, 6:35, 6:36.
And yet here we are, all in the same joint, despite tech gremlins.
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
apologies to Michael Nolan for for not making him a tea. I would have made one. I'd have given you a nice. You can have a never mind the bollocks cup.
Oh, that's
Oh,
great.
there you go. Yes.
Or you can have a cup with my ex on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. What?
It's part of her merchandise that got left here.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
She was a calendar model and a Playboy model.
Oh. Huh. Oh, there you go.
Oh, like that. Yeah.
Yes.
It was a while ago. That's not what I mean.
Who was that model who was after Freddie Mercury back in the 80s? What was her name?
Sam
Blonde.
Sam
Huh?
Fox. Sam Fox.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, she was knocking on the wrong door, wasn't she?
I was going to say.
But it's like
Nobody
the chick
home.
that married
Hi.
Elton. It's just like,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, I've got footage of her dancing with Freddie somewhere.
Yes,
Right.
yeah, it's that record release party, isn't it? I know the one where he
It was
sees.
on the VHS. Yeah.
Yeah. That's on the Magic Years video set, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's my wife used to have those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
that's
remember that. Well,
God, I know a lot of trivial shit, don't I?
yeah.
No, but that's what's fun.
Because my wife was a big. Well, Paul, should I tell you about my near miss
Yes.
group I almost got to see?
Sure.
It's 1968, and my mom was in the hospital. I lived in Oklahoma City. My dad was going to take me to the Wedgwood Amusement Park, August of '68, and guess who was playing there?
You got me.
Yeah,
Stone?
right. Beetle Babe, the Who.
Oh,
Damn.
1968, it was pre-Tommy.
Oh,
wow.
Seriously,
Wow.
and I got a jacket. We're jumping in the car. We're fixing to back out. Here come my grandparents.
Oh my God.
And I said, "Don't you think they would like to go to the?" And they're in the country and everything. And I said, "Oh." So I didn't go get almost, but I didn't get to see the Who. And that was 1968.
that hurts.
You know? That would have been a young Keith Moon in his best.
Oh,
But I didn't get to see him.
that hurts.
Mhm.
Just even just listening, that hurts.
I know.
That's like one of those twist the knife stories.
Yeah, yeah.
That's amazing.
It was
That's
so long
amazing.
ago, though. They were so young back then, and all four of them were alive. Yeah.
Unfortunately, at that time, I was in diapers and I was unable to speak, so I wouldn't have been able to make it.
Well, I was in grade school. I was buying 45 records, so I knew who the Who were. So
Yeah.
mhm.
It's all good, John. But yeah, back for 2 seconds though to Pistols. So being that I was living in Chicagoland at the time, and one of the biggest radio stations, WLS, of course, AM.
Oh, yeah.
My God, back in the day, it could carry to almost 40 states at night. Insane stuff. But Larry Lujak, good old Uncle Larry, he mentioned, because the news story about the Pistols and getting signed and everything. So he had the 45 of Anarchy, and he played about 30, 45 seconds of it.
Mhm.
Did a whole needle rip, snapped the damn record in half, and I am going, what the hell? And I'm like, I'm only 10, but I'm like, I actually was getting into this stuff. What the hell, Uncle? I tried to call it, bitch him out on that one, but couldn't get through. I'm like, hey, I can't remember, somebody was bringing up the Plasmatics too the other day. That was another one. I was 15 then, and seeing them on the TV, I'm like, what the hell? And I'm like, amazing stuff, just amazing stuff back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, especially. It's just like, wow. Anybody mind if I throw some more? Not throw. I'm not going to break a thing in half here. I did bring some vinyl that I have off to the side from my collection.
Go ahead.
I'll try to be speedy about this.
Go ahead.
I remember when I was younger, and I wanted to get this thing, and this thing was it always was too pricey. And then now I did not pay the $7.99 that's on here. I paid $5.
Oh, the
First press, press, and the vinyl is in decent shape. I cannot say that really about. I am missing most of the innards though, unfortunately. But as you can see, massive ring wear, but what do you expect? But I was just like, it took me 20, 25 years on and off looking to find one of these things. And before, like I'd say a month before I found this, I was in an estate sale, the same one that I got my Doors first album in mono. Same sale, right? They had a second press, and I grabbed that sucker for $3. There was no innards in that either. Everybody loved to collect the innards. All right, so of course everybody likes his early stuff, and geez, Rainbow Sabbath, Elf, if we want to go back that far. This was a Goodwill find. I didn't even know that this existed on vinyl at that time frame, and I'm just. Yeah. And I was just like, you betcha, right on that. Right. I'm not going to pull that right out of the White Warner Brothers. Now, everybody, or maybe not everybody, but a lot of people, they had some hometown band that tried to make it. I said if I ever found this album, I was going to show it. Yeah, I saw that too after the fact. Wendy O. Williams was a smart cookie. I was very happy to know that. Hi, Royce. And so I grew up in Crystal Lake, Illinois. Now, Crystal Lake, Illinois, 45-minute drive-ish, maybe an hour to Chicago. And so in the mid-70s, I lived on William Street, and go around the corner, and you could always hear the rock music coming out of this garage. And I would always try to stop and listen. And then I got to see them play at a big carnival of all things, and they went off and mentioned that they were going to do an album for the first time. And I'm like, okay. And so they didn't make many of these. The band's name was called Shire. And as you kind of maybe could see, I know it's a little bit glary, but you're talking 1980, 81. So yeah. And it's proggy. It's proggy. They were trying to go for a mix of Styx, Kansas, and Yes vibe for that one. But unfortunately, they didn't go anywhere after that. I did say in yesterday's broadcast that if I found this, I was going to show this. This is the only Monkees album I've got with 2 autographs.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
yes.
David and Mickey. And David, the David autograph is from 05 when I saw him in
2 years
Crystal
after
Lake,
mine.
and
Mhm.
2010 at the Wizard World Con. And yeah, I mean, it was just cool all the way around. Like I said, this one's the Rhino dish. And then after 2010, I found a damn original OG press. Yes, it is. It's a damn good album. Yeah, Royce, Brother Royce and us. Now this next one, this is an Apple Records, but I almost didn't catch this. I found this in a library sale, and I'm not going to lie to you, I have not played it. Now I don't know if you know what this is.
Ravi.
No.
But it is the Radha Krishna
Oh, the
Temple
Krishna
on
Temple.
Apple Records.
Okay.
And George is involved in this. And I mean, I can't go any farther than that, but he does, produced. So he produced this whole thing. I have another one that I'll show sometime. I guess it was an Apple Films, and it was from 1972, 73 or something like that. And it was Ravi Shankar with a couple other people, but it was like a soundtrack album. Seriously. And I'm like, I don't know what they were talking about. Now, I showed yesterday Muddy Waters live at Newport in 1960. 10 cent garage sale, right? Yeah, I miss those days. Well, here was another one. I said if I found it, I was going to show it. Bo Diddley, that's right. That very cool album with that, I'm a Man, all the good stuff. Unfortunately, there's tape all over this thing, but what do you expect for 10 cents? We did clean it up a little bit, and it does sound okay. Not great. I mean, it sounds better than the Muddy, unfortunately. To go from a band that, well, they're still around now, but in their original incantation, going from 69 to 75 before a lineup change, and then the rest till 83, late 83, early 84, technically. Styx is Caught in the Act, live, which yes, I mean, with the some people do not like the song Music Time, but that's what's on here too. It's okay. And it was their top 40 it squeaked into, but look at the 1983 fashions. Oh boy. The DVD's good on that too, though. Now, I know I've said this in front of David and everyone here, but one of my top favorite bands. They always will be.
Oh yeah.
And to have this puppy, this thing here, this came from an estate sale also. And just to have this, and I still say one of their best albums, one side produced by George, the other side produced by Todd Rundgren.
Yes.
Wow.
And you got it going. So then you flash forward to a couple years later. And yes, I did only pay the 50 cents that's on this label. The Wish You Were Here, 1974 on Warner. These guys deserved better. They did. They just totally deserved better. Now, you guys know I'm a Floyd fan. We talked about some of this stuff. Well, Metal, one of my favorite albums.
Yeah.
Now the sticker, I can't tell, but it just simply ripped it off. It sounds something, but yes. And so this thing is this heavy jacket, by the way, and of course on Harvest.
Yeah.
Now, I wish Jeff Allen was here. I hope he's doing okay. I have communicated. Maybe he's working. But, of course, one of Detroit, Michigan's favorites, Romantics, personally signed by 3/4 of the original lineup. I got to meet these guys, yes, back in about 2003, 2004, roughly. And I like these guys. I do. Let's see. I only got 2 more. I do like me some really good Christian rock. I do, actually. I've mentioned before, I'm a big Petra fan. I also like John Michael Talbot for his excellent guitar playing skills. Okay. Well, I also like this gentleman too for his guitar playing skills, and he has made several different albums over the years with Beatle influenced type stuff. And I am speaking of Phil Keaggy. And he personally signed this. He originally started in an Ohio band called Glassheart, which they cut 2 or 3 albums on Decca with some future members of the Michael Stanley band in that lineup too. But I'm telling you, if you ever just give them a listen, I think you guys would appreciate it if you haven't done so. And then lastly, the gratuitous, oh boy, I said gratuitous. The gratuitous shot of Jim Dandy. Yeah, that's
Ooh.
right. Signed by him and Ricky Lee Reynolds when I saw him in 2009. The Balls of Fire album on MCA, not Atco, because basically after Rated X, which was the first album on MCA, they started to kind of go down in quality, but their cover of Rambling Gambling Man is actually half decent. And yes, they do Great Balls of Fire too, but I'm not into that one very much. But just take a look. There's your 1976. That's what they looked like back then. All right, I'm making myself small. One pill makes you larger.
Sounds good. Yeah, you know,
Yes.
Paul, you said something about liking Christian rock. You might
Some of it, yes.
Yeah, you might be interested when Dan Peake left America.
Yes.
He got into Christian rock, and there's an excellent album that actually got some pop airplay called "All Things Are Possible."
Oh, is that the one with Doer of the Word?
I don't remember. I haven't listened to it in years, but it was the other 2 members of America guest on backing vocals on some of the songs.
See, I'm looking for that LP then. I heard about that. It was nice that they did that.
Yeah.
Just go check out his catalog. You'll find out how David's so good.
Yeah, there's actually that's a good way. Actually, if you put my name correctly spelled into Discogs, it's like a page and a bit and stuff of whatever it is. But it's funny. People often say, "Oh, is your band any good?" I don't know until you listen to it.
Well,
I only get involved in stuff that I really like. So to me, stuff I've done with Matlock, I love. The stuff I've done on my own, I love. Ivy was a band I love. Whether we were any good or not just depends on your ears, really. And
exactly.
I'm plugging the Peaceful Cacophony single at the moment, but it's very different to what I've done before. And someone who might like the Venus Reaction may not like the new thing because it's much more atmospheric and a bit floaty and stuff. Whereas the Crashing Up is basically, it sounds like the title, So I don't know, Maris. You'll have to. There's plenty on YouTube. There's plenty on. I've got a YouTube channel. Check my YouTube channel out. All it is I don't do stuff like streams and that like you guys do. It's just a collection of promo videos, live gigs, and all that. It bore the pants off some people, but some people be into it. Yeah.
I'm gonna get some more coffee. Everybody talk amongst themselves for a minute.
God, what a part-timer this guy is. Jeez.
I'm like, how many cups is that with the click counter?
Why not move the percolator closer?
Yeah, drink all that coffee. You're supposed to sleep at night too. Be sitting there in bed trying to. Yeah.
I can't wait till Tuesday. I keep looking at myself in this. I can't wait till Tuesday. Do you know why?
What's on Tuesday?
Because the fucking gap here is gonna. I broke a tooth at Christmas, and every time I've been on one of these, it's such a confidence hoover. And a couple of the wags in the gallery. It's been mentioned. It's been mentioned.
They're assholes.
Yeah. And it's like, but oh god, it is because when you talk to people, it's a weird thing, isn't it?
I definitely understand because I busted. I think it was this tooth in the front out when I was 17, and I had to walk around for 3 years without a tooth there before I finally got an implant. So I understand your pain. So.
Yeah. It's not good, and I can't wait. I'm not scared of the dentist, so I just want to get it done. I can't wait. But it costs a fortune as well, obviously, because we don't have. We may have healthcare in this country, but we don't have free dentistry or anything like that. We don't have any, National Health Service dentist. So they can charge what they like because they know you've got to have it done.
Exactly, and they will charge accordingly for it. Like my implants were like $5,000 a piece. those two there, and I had to replace one of them because my stupid ass broke one of them. So I was like,
How did you bust yours though?
let's confirm.
How did you bust yours though?
The first time or the second time?
Oh, right. One of them was just a fist fight, was it? Just
Yeah.
brawling in the streets again.
I wish it were anything as interesting as that. No one believes me when I say I bit a piece of bread and
Yeah.
it just fucking crumbled because it's
That's
like my almost every tooth in my mouth has been crowned at this point because I forget what the condition's called, but basically my natural teeth are the consistency of chalk. You barely touch them, they
Right.
will fall apart. So they literally have to be crowned, otherwise I would have no teeth in my head.
Fair enough.
So one of those, all it took was that before I had that done, and it fell the hell apart. Now, when I busted it the second time,
Mhm.
it was even stupider. I bit into a Cadbury cream egg, and those are not that hard. That should not have busted. And
What the-
like, maybe it was
I don't know, but I put my cream eggs in the fridge because I don't like chocolate that hasn't been in the fridge. So
Those are good too.
so this
Right
one
on,
was
David.
like- my dad was looking at me. He's like, "You might want to not be so aggressive with it. You're gonna break your tooth." I was like, "No, I won't." And almost no sooner I go, "No, I won't."
yeah,
No. And of course, Easter Sunday, dentist isn't in, and she was on vacation until halfway into the week before she could even see me to even evaluate. I was like, this sucks so bad. So in that amount of time, my asshole internet friends are like digging up every picture of Keith Moon with that tooth missing, every
Yeah.
picture of Judy Garland with that tooth blacked out for the hobo
Oh,
pit, every
God.
picture of Paul McCartney where that same crown on him had fallen out. He went to Stella's fashion show. And I'm like, you guys suck so hard right now. I can laugh at 20 years later, but at the time I was pissed. But
it's
So
just-
you're
it's-
saying,
you're never ready for it though, is it? It's like the
Mm.
new Peaceful Cacophony single. Obviously, we had to do a video for it,
mhm.
and I just said to the director, I said, can we just film me from above so that I can look down and not have, like so they couldn't see me, and any of the other scenes in it. Luckily, I don't sing, you know.
So you have that at least working for you there. In
Well, the
this
thing is,
regard,
the good
so.
thing, the distraction is Denise, the lead singer Denise, is like
Mhm.
really hot and blonde
Mhm.
and sexy and that. So no one's looking at me. So
Right.
it's like, I just keep my mouth shut and
That
and
works.
do my thing. So yeah, it's but it's really annoying. I remember when Bowie died. When
Yeah.
Bowie died on the news that night, they got hold of Glenn Matlock, and he did this interview. And obviously, he's been rung by Channel 4 or BBC and said, "Can you know?" And he said yes, but he'd lost a tooth here, and I noticed it was really noticeable. Obviously, he couldn't say no to an interview because Bowie's died, you know.
Right.
But on the other hand, I bet he thought, "Oh, I've got the dentist tomorrow. Why can't it be tomorrow?" You know, because it was so noticeable, and so that's why I felt really, you know, conscious. It was a bit of a
See, I've
confidence.
been self-conscious for years over the fact that it was like, okay, when those happened, I had to have them fixed ASAP because that's real noticeable. On the bottom, I chipped one of my crowns probably close to 10 years ago, but it's just like cosmetic. I'm like, I'll leave it. It just looks like a crooked tooth. I don't care. I don't care that much. I'll eventually get around to replacing it. For now, I live
Yeah.
with it just being chipped. I don't.
Well, the people
Yeah.
they correctly take the piss out of English people for having bad teeth because it's true. I don't know why. I don't know how we didn't get the education that if you eat loads of sweets and then go to bed,
Right.
that's not going to help. You know?
Yeah.
And it just didn't get punched
That's
into me
right.
enough, sadly.
Well, I did, and my teeth up here are good. I got 3 or 4 teeth in the back that need
Yeah.
to come out. I kind of
Yeah.
when I'm
Blame
eating,
my
I
mum.
kind of go, yeah, you know.
I blame my mum. I
That's
was
two other
third
things.
child in, so I think my other
Oh,
two
yeah.
sisters nicked all the calcium and everything. You know,
I was the first child, so there goes that theory.
yeah, there you go.
I was the only child, so there you go. Here, have some candy.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Richard.
Richard is still in the VC protection program. He cannot show his face.
Yeah, I'm innocent. I'm innocent, despite if you whatever. Despite
Oh, what
whatever
a
you
load of
heard-
shit.
Despite whatever you heard this morning, I'm innocent. I'm innocent.
Whoa, wait a minute. This morning? What happened this morning?
I'm innocent.
Okay. So basically, Martin came in under a shit ton of troll accounts on Rachel's today, just trying to start shit. And all of a sudden Richard pops up on screen, and Mazzy and Rob start going after him like
Rachel did.
and like he like panicked like a deer in the headlights, and his internet wasn't working right, and he just left, and it was just like, what the hell just happened? But it's like, it was him. He wasn't the troll. I know exactly who the troll is.
That was. I'll say that was.
Rachel did too. Rachel was surprised.
But that was funny, but it was completely unnecessary.
Right.
And I did message her after. So.
It's just completely. It's like it was always. It's like someone walking in a room and suddenly go, "That's him," and then you go, "What?"
But
That's right.
I'm a rat too. That's why I changed my name, because I'm a rat. So everybody better watch out for me, because I'm.
Yeah, Joe Mayo says he's a rat. So he's
are you Templeton? No.
Templeton.
From Charlotte's Web.
No, I'm Ben. I'm Ben.
Oh, okay.
Listen, Charlotte. Listen, Charlotte. Can I eat anything in the fairgrounds?
Oh my God.
So yeah, poor Jen. But let me ask you something, Jen. I mean, see, you have all those crowns in your mouth. That means that you got a royal mouth, right? So if that's the case, when you have anything, does it always taste like gold? See what I did there? That's horrible. I've been waiting 2 minutes for that bit.
I can actually answer that fairly, because the first ones I ever had done were the cheap ones that are just like silver. Those do taste like metal. When I had them replaced with the porcelain ones, no, they don't taste like anything.
I was going to say, did you pull a Lori Partridge? When you you'd pull in radio stations in your teeth. That was an episode of the Partridge Family. They're like, what's that sound?
No, that never happened.
I did have I had a Spinal Tap moment on stage once, where the first time I was using those, you get those like a cordless guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, it's not a cordless guitar. It's basically a backpack that you put on your strap and then you plug it in there. Blah blah. It's got an aerial on your amp. And I didn't know what frequencies to avoid. I hadn't really researched it, but I just thought I'd give it a go and stuff. And of course, halfway through, there's like a taxi outside, and it's like a quiet bit in the song. Suddenly, it comes through: Tango, Whiskey, Foxtrot, Ebony. We're outside the waterfront venue, picking up Nancy from going to. And it was really embarrassing. And then the football came on. There was like, look at the football. And I didn't realise that you have to set certain frequencies so it can avoid things like aeroplanes.
Oh man!
And the police, But I learned my lesson. Luckily, in a small venue, but
yes, better it be a small venue than like a 20,000 seater. Oh god!
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I love all that sort of shit. It makes me laugh. We always used to say in bands, well, that's one for the biography,
Exactly.
See, I got to tell you, I think probably all of us here on the panel, I bet you are big, huge fans of Spinal Tap. When I saw that movie the first time, I had to watch it twice though. And so like I stayed and watched it again and I know you're probably like, well, why?
I think I know why. I think it's the same reason I had to watch it twice in a row too.
Trying to spot the references of where the instances that they were making fun of. Well, of course, the easiest one was the Stonehenge because of Sabbath, and I'm like, oh my God! And I'm just like, okay, and I'm trying to remember. Hey, which way to the stage? That was another. I think that was either Aerosmith or Nugent. That happened to in Cleveland, and I'm just going, okay, it's like boom, 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 and then just to find the hidden cameos of the people and the musicians, like it's all kinds of fun. I love it.
Like halfway through the movie the first time to realize this is a parody.
I've never seen Spinal Tap.
And I was like, wait a minute. I have to watch it twice in a row now, because now that I understand the joke. I had this also happen with Best in Show. I thought it was a real dog show. I was watching it.
Oh my God.
And my uncle that I was watching it with did not correct me. He let me go on thinking this. I was like, you suck.
I didn't like that one. I didn't like Best in Show.
I did. I was just like, this is the most unhinged dog show I've ever seen, and it's incredible.
I like Fred. I like Fred Willard too, and I didn't like that one.
But I like it
Spinal-
in Spinal Tap, the singer's girlfriend who tries to be their manager. It's Vicky Blue. It's Vicky Blue from the Runaways, isn't it?
I think so.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was quite cool.
Spinal Tap I've never seen.
The
And
soundtrack
also-
is
We'll have
great.
to fix that too, Richard.
I'm
Yeah,
sure
they-
that David
keep track
knows in England they did kind of a Spinal Tap show called Bad News.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah. The same guys that did
young
the young
one.
ones,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
See, that's how I found out about the young ones, is because
Mhm.
early MTV
News,
used to
yeah.
show them at midnight.
Oh yeah,
Ah,
comic strip.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like,
Simpson
what are
Saunders.
these guys?
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm just like, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
See, I found it much the same way that I found the Monkees, where it was just like, because of all my online friends, like late 90s, early 2000s, all of my friends who were Beatles and Beatles and Who fans also happen to be Monkees fans. A lot of those
Yeah.
three also happen to be fans of the young ones, and they post about that on their pages too. And I eventually got curious enough to track this down and was like, oh, all right, that's pretty cool. All right, I'm down with this. Okay. That was exactly how I got into the Monkees as well, though, because for years I had this notion in my head that they were just a Beatle ripoff, so I didn't even give them the time of day. In hindsight, I'm like, so many years wasted. I could have been enjoying this. I suck.
Well, yeah. Well, I have to confess, there's quite a few bands that I ignored for decades and decades and decades.
Me
And,
too. Yeah, I mean,
and
I think
Happy for the best of us.
particularly being British, we never took the Monkees seriously, really, because it was we just thought, let's put together bands to try and get the Beatles thing and what have you. And obviously, I like some of the songs, Last Train to Clarksville, blah, 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 all that sort of thing. But recently, because I've started watching this sort of stuff in COVID, and that's where my podcast, virginity was smashed to pieces. And it's the people just doing entire shows about the Monkees, and I was just thinking,
Right.
have I missed something?
Yes, you have. Very
Yeah,
much so.
I have, because I've started to listen to them, and I realise now that like Michael Nesmith is pretty good, pretty
Mhm.
decent,
My boy.
and so it's a slow burn, but it's weird. I just didn't take them. It's like the Grateful Dead. I still haven't got into. You'd think I'd
Same.
like them. I love all the sort of Jefferson Airplane, that sort of thing. I've tried with the Grateful Dead. I've bunged it on a few times. Tried to watch a concert. Tried to watch a documentary. They just seem like an electric folk group doing okay. Just
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I'm not
about the same I get out of them. That
a
makes
fan
me
of
feel
Grateful
any
Dead,
better.
to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, were they okay, I don't want to say were they one of the first jam bands? I mean, because they started out as the Warlocks in '65 and then went into this whole thing. I mean, if I want to put on some music to relax, I will put on the Dead. I will. A live thing more than the studio. Although I got to admit, I don't have too much Grateful Dead in the collection anyway. But I don't want to say everybody, but obviously a lot of people are like, oh yeah, it's such a great. Well, I'm like, okay, fine, yes, but you're missing the point. There was other stuff too. They were meant to be a live band more than a studio band anyway. They even admitted that in many interviews. But it's like, when you got a record contract, you can't keep spitting out live albums. Although, as we know, they spit out a lot of live albums. That's because they got so much catalog for the shows. I mean, how many other back in the day? How many other bands would have allowed a paper section? Seriously, just put the mic and roll. Ladies and gentlemen, I hate to do this, but I have to get done here because I have to take kid to work. I want to thank everybody here. I'm sorry about the tech gremlins, but hopefully we're going to try shooting for Saturday on a show, Saturday night. It'll probably be the last Saturday show for the month, because the next 2 Saturdays after that, I got busy stuff. But I want to thank everybody on the panel and you guys out there. You guys are full. You guys care. God bless. Always powered by coffee every time. And once again, everybody, thank you for watching Psycho Splatter. Like, get
I'm gonna
line.
say